Hi, everybody. I'm Kieran Milne. I'm a product marketing manager with Juniper Networks.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm the PLM for the QFX platforms at Juniper.
Thanks, Michael, for joining us today. We've got another vlog here of our latest kind of data center EVPN VXLAN features. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Kieran. In fact, we have another interesting feature for our data center customers, which is MAC-VRF multi-EVI, which is offering additional capabilities for multi-tenancy, virtualization of the workloads within the data center, and it gives additional options to interrupt between different vendors, right? So if we have a data center ecosystem, different vendors can exist within the fabric. So with MAC-VRF, we have finally that opportunity to interrupt independently of the service types that are enabled within the fabric. We can interrupt with different vendors. And then with MAC-VRF, we have the option to control how the VXLAN tunnel distribution is happening within the fabric. And then the last thing that we wanted to improve within the Junos is to unify the CLI across all Juniper platforms, right? So that should also allow for our customers to improve the way they implement the automation part within the data center fabric.
That's great. So give us an example. Show us kind of an architecture or a visual example of how this fits into an environment.
Yeah, so MAC-VRF can be used at the EVPN VXLAN edge-routed bridging architecture or centrally routed bridging. And we can actually implement the MAC-VRF multi-EVI capabilities on the existing fabrics which are enabled with the default switch EVI using Juniper implementations, right? So mainly we can use three reference architectures, CRB, ERB, or bridge overlay. They're all documented at juniper.net. But we keep consistent approach from the prescriptive architecture implementation for MAC-VRF as well, right?
Excellent. Now, you were telling me before there are some variations or some considerations based on the bridging situation or our VLAN service types, right?
Precisely, Kieran, because with MAC-VRF, we can have the flexibility of selecting different service types, right, within the VRF. So if, for example, your customer needs a full isolation of the workloads, then you can go ahead and use VLAN-based service type within the MAC-VRF EVI. And then if you would like to aggregate different VNIs, different VLANs under the same instance, then you can go ahead and use VLAN aware at the same box, right? So the same leaf device, QFX 5120, for example, can have different services enabled at the same time in two different EVIs. So EVIs is simply like a MAC-VRF equals EVI, right? But services can be completely independent one from another within the same box.
That's great, Michael. Okay, so now we already have the Type 5 option in the mix, right, for our existing EVPN VXLAN environments. How does Type 5 and MAC-VRF relate or not to each other?
Hey, good question, Kieran. So in fact, with the MAC-VRF, we can deliver a one-to-one mapping between the L2 context with the EVPN EVI for L2 services, and then with the Type 5 instances, which are mainly to deliver prefix isolation, right? So we can combine different mapping options from the virtualization point of view, and that can be like mapping two different MAC-VRFs to a unique Type 5, or have a full isolation, which from the security point of view gives the most of the benefits, and get one VRF for L2, which is VRF 1 for MAC-VRF, and then get a dedicated Type 5 VRF for prefix isolation. So from the security point of view, you get the most of the benefits using a one-to-one mapping, right? But in some cases, you need to obviously move specific flows from one VRF to another. And then obviously on this slide, we highlight some of the main virtualization options that we have within the same QFX 5120 starting Junos 20.4.
Great. To that very point, let me make sure we've got this right for the viewers. So tell us the platform support and the Junos release support for this new MAC-VRF functionality.
Yeah, so from the Junos point of view, we deliver the functionality starting Junos 20.4 R1, but the hardening release will be 20.4 R2 for all of the QFX platforms, including 5120, with different flavors of 5120, including the 5120 supporting MAC-Sec, for example, that is also coming out at the end of the year. And it includes also the border leaf use cases with QFX 10K supporting as well the MAC-VRF with multiple service types.
All right, Michael, so that takes us to the end of the blog. Take us home here. What are kind of some of the key takeaways for people to keep in mind?
So there are three takeaways, Kieran, for MAC-VRF implementations within the EVPN VXLAN data center fabrics. First one, you get the full flexibility for isolating L2 and L3 workloads within the fabric. Second is that you get that virtualization not only for the prefixes isolation, but also for the MAC isolation. And then the third thing is that you get a unified Junos CLI across all of the Juniper platforms for EVPN, right? So if you have a DevOps environment where you deliver an automated EVPN VXLAN fabric using your in-house developed tools, then obviously delivering such project is much easier with MAC-VRF because we keep consistency of the configurations across all of the platforms, including QFXs, MXs, or PTXs, right? So these are the three main outcomes, including where security of the workloads as the main one when implementing MAC-VRF at the QFXs.
Excellent. Good. Thanks, Michael, for that. So to everyone watching, that's kind of a quick overview of the new MAC-VRF feature. If you want to dig into more detail, check out the Q1 2021 Masterclass, where we'll be covering several of our EVPN VXLAN topics and digging into more detail than we did here. So that's something to check out if you want more detail. But we'll stop here for now. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Talk to you next time.
Bye.